Hola, amigos. My friend Louis Carpio asked me to come here to tell you a little bit about space events. I told him, yeah, I know a thing or two about that. I can help you, no problem. In 1942, the German V-2 was the first rocket to reach 100 kilometers from the Earth's surface. The rocket was designed by Wernher von Braun, who later worked with NASA, as the creator of the rockets that went to the moon. In 1947, the first animals were launched into space. Fruit flies were used to study the effects of space travel on animals, and were chosen because they are more similar to humans than you might imagine. Albert II was the first monkey in space. He was a rhesus monkey, a type of monkey that originally comes from Asia. On 4th of October 1957, Russia launched the first satellite into space. Sputnik 1, and the space age had properly begun. Sputnik was the first satellite in orbit around the Earth. Today there are over 500 working satellites in space. Sputnik means satellite in Russian. In November 1957, the Russian space dog, Laika, became the first animal to orbit the Earth. Laika traveled in a spacecraft known as Sputnik 2. Laika means barker in Russian, and her mission helped scientists understand whether people could survive in space. By 1959, both American and Russian scientists were in a race to get a spacecraft to the moon. The Russians made it first. Space probe Luna 2 crash-landed into the moon at a speed that would kill an astronaut if one had been traveling in it. It took 10 years until a human visited the moon's surface. In 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy promised the world that the U.S. would land men on the moon before 1970. NASA sent a robot spaceship to make sure they could land safely. It was called Surveyor 1, and it made the second soft landing on the moon on 30th of May 1966, a few months after Russian probe Luna 9 landed successfully. On 20th of July 1969, Neil Armstrong, and then Buzz Aldrin took one small step and became the first men on the moon. The first words said on the moon were "The Eagle has landed." Their spaceship, Apollo 11, worked perfectly, flying them 250,000 miles to the moon, and bringing them all the way back, safely to Earth. From 1971, American astronauts on the 4th, 5th and 6th Apollo missions enjoyed use of a moon car to explore the moon. Known as the Lunar Rover. It was designed and developed in only 17 months, by Boeing, the airplane company famous for making the jumbo jet. Until 12th of April 1981, all spacecraft were designed to be used only once. The Space Shuttle was designed to be reused for up to 100 visits to space, in an attempt to make space travel less expensive. With 5 hugely powerful rocket motors, it can fly at more than 17,000 miles per hour. 6 have been built. On January 28, 1986, tragedy struck. Space Shuttle Challenger exploded shortly after launch, because of a fuel system failure. All 7 astronauts on board were killed, and all shuttles were grounded for nearly 3 years. This terrible accident reminded the world of the dangers of space travel, and the incredible bravery of all astronauts. In 2000, the first permanent crew moved into the International Space Station, ISS, where crews of astronauts have been living ever since. The Curiosity rover is a car-sized, robotic rover, exploring Gale crater on Mars, as part of NASA's Mars Science Laboratory mission. It was launched from Cape Canaveral, on November 26, 2011, at 10:02 EST aboard the MSL spacecraft and successfully landed on Eolis Palus in Gale crater on Mars on August 6, 2012. Dr. Butler, I hope you liked my presentation. If not, Louis will not take me to the state fair to eat some elephant ears and scare little kids. Thanks for being such a great audience. If you have any question, please ask my friend Louis. Goodbye.